So now we have a team that run the EBF for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sarah, Brian and Phil, they all run the EBF, and Goldstar, the operations is... Spence does the deal, signs the paperwork, passes me the paperwork and say, right, we are now doing a tour with...
Yeah. Floyd Mayweather. Yeah.
You know, we've done shows with Connor McGregor.
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
You know, all these weird and wonderful people coming right the way through to, you know, Tyson Fury, you know, and everybody else. And they all bring their own kind of stories to the table, each an individual person.
So I particularly, because Floyd Mayweather was like, not that, it was 28. Was Floyd Mayweather 2018?
So Floyd is on 3 tours with us now.
Yo, it's me, Paul Mort. And today, Mr. Paul Mort is talking shit with Mr. James Ward. Mr. Ward, how are you?
Well, Paul, how are
Good.
you?
Mate, I'm great. I'm excited. So, for you guys, you've obviously listened to the intro because we do a long intro before we do the show. So, James is a guy that I met for the first time in probably 2017, which is mad, when I was about to have my first boxing match at 7 years old in this hall in South Shields with no head guard on and out like that. And James was running this show. And then I think he must have given me a pep talk before my fight. And then a few months later, I was cornering on a show where there was fucking hell on at Temple Park Leisure Centre, and I met James again. And then randomly got a call this year about getting Tyson Fury on. I was like, oh yeah, I remember you, James. Random. Anyway, so I'm excited to have James on because the reason I wanted him on is because I'm very interested in his story because I don't know how this whole fucking mad thing came about, and I'm also very interested to hear some stories about some of the interesting people that he's worked with. So James, I'm gonna get straight in. How did you get into this boxing thing?
Okay.
How did you get into the whole the ECB is called, right?
EBF.
EBF. Where did I get ECB from? That's cricket, isn't it? Do you like cricket?
Oh, mine on it. To be fair, like I'll swap.
EBF. EBF. How did you get into this?
Okay, bit of a long-winded story.
We love a long-winded story. Yeah, we just got done with Sean Gash, so it's a good fucking job, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, not a good act to follow. Yeah, no pressure. So yeah, from a fitness background. Yeah, was into. I was a personal trainer, ran a chain of gyms. Realised there's no money in the leisure fitness industry. Kind of got reached with that, and went into sales. Went from there to the Yellow Pages. Remember that old thing?
Really?
Years ago, yeah.
Hell.
Became a major account manager, big money, high flying, flash car, all this, all that. Google comes along, started going head to head with you, realise you're in a losing battle. Took up boxing as a little bit of stress relief, in all honesty. And there was a fella in the gym one day, a little bit of a wide boy type character, you know, Cockney wide boys who were. Fella called Spencer Brown. Said to me, oh, you can box a little bit, we'll have to have a spar. So we had a bit of gym banter as you're doing all that. He said, what are you doing at the weekend? Why don't you come and watch one of my shows? So we've gone to this Park Hall, was an old kind of Camelot is an old theme park. I don't know if anyone knows a Camelot theme park. They had a nightclub on it, which obviously the theme park shut down. They kept the nightclub open, so this is eerie, old school, unlicensed boxing. You know, we're not wrapping our hands. You know,
really,
all these characters. And Spencer says, "Come and watch the show. Come watch the show." You can't use a stopwatch, can you? My timekeeper's not turned up.
Fucking hell.
He says, and we're like, fucking hell. So anyway, I use the stopwatch. Start getting into it a little bit, following him about, going for a drive with Spencer. Spencer's one of these weird and wonderful characters that you meet along the way. He's got loads of businesses, mega business brain. And I just, we got on really well.
Funny enough, mate, that was one of the, if I was to describe you, I'd also say that you were like I call these kind of people serial entrepreneurs.
Right, okay.
Like, they just got all these different businesses and that like love business. Like, you could never imagine yourself in a job.
Well, not from probably that point of meeting Spencer, but I think it took meeting Spencer for me to realise and open up that it kind of, you don't have to work for somebody, do you? You don't have to be a number at the Yellow Pages of a big American corporate company that are sending you on all these motivational American sales talks, drive, and pin the people down and close the doors on the way to the end of the corridor and all this.
Overcome objections.
That's it. All of that stuff. So me and Spencer ended up driving up and down the country, and then these were hardcore unlicensed shows, social clubs, lads knocking out each other, no real rules apart from it's free.
Well, here's a story for you. I remember once I called at that show. It was Brian Houseby's show, but you were obviously licensed.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is that you do inside of that.
Clash of the Vikings.
Clash of the Vikings. It was. So anyway, there was one I went in, and there was a kid there. Like he said, "Can you corner us?" I was like, "I can corner you." I said, "Where's your gummies?" "Oh, I don't have one." "What? You don't have a gummy?" So he fucking put this other guy's gum shield in. I said, "What about your gloves?" He said, "I don't have any gloves. Can you get me some gloves?" And he just fucking went in and out of dust up.
Yeah.
It was mad. Mad. So you must have seen loads of shit like that.
Yeah. So me and Spence go all around the country. What we eventually ended up doing is Spencer went to run some of the shows.
Yeah.
I started helping him out in some of his retail businesses and stuff like that. And I hated my job. I hated the yellow pages. I came to a point where weird old thing, but you get yourself into a bit of a rut, don't you? Yeah. So you get yourself into a bit of a rut. On a Sunday, about tea time, start feeling sick in your stomach, and I hate this job, and I'm thinking to myself, ugh. So then I go and speak to Spencer, and how's work been, son? I hate it. Fucking quit. Yeah. Well, what do you mean? I'm getting like 100 grand a year. I'm not.
How long ago was it?
13 years ago.
Oh, really?
13 years ago, yeah. So a good few years ago. Yeah. Spencer just quit. Come and work for me. Yeah. So it's not just as easy as that. No, it is. Just quit. Just do it. Yeah. Never get into a position like that. Got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Quit. Ended up working for Spencer in the retail. As we got further and further along, the retail wasn't for me. Spencer, listen, why don't you take over this boxing now? Because I'm far too busy. We've got all these shows up and down the country. I'll make you a partner. Me and you got 50-50 and we'll run the business. Yeah. At that point, there was lads swapping gum shields. There's lads swapping gloves and all that kind of stuff. So I decided, to try and level it out a little bit. So we put a structure in place of rankings, a website, a licensing, just to try and get it a little bit more where it was. We're not claiming to be
a bit more organised.
Don't claim to be safer. Yes. More medics, more doctors, and all this kind of stuff.
Well, I actually remember that first fight I had. There was a medic came and she was fucking like, she does your blood pressure on that. Mine was through the fucking roof. Yeah. And I was thinking, why the fuck's my blood? But then obviously it was my first fight. I shit me pants. Yeah. And I was sweating in that. I was like, I was saying, well, am I all right?
It's funny how many times you say, just go and sit over in the corner. Yeah. Give 5 minutes, come back again, and the blood pressure's dropped again because the body increases blood pressure before exercise anyway. Yeah. Before you're just about to get punched in the mouth in front of a few hundred people, it's even it's tenfold, and then that's where the company got to. Yeah. So we have 60 or 70 co-promoters up and down the country. Yeah. We now go from white collar, which is the 8-week training camp, the head guards, to what we deem as semi-professional, which is obviously going to get a few haters when I use that term. The term semi-professional is how you're paid for the sport, not at the level you are. So if you're paid and it is not your full-time possession or profession or your living,
well, that's what they'd say in football, wouldn't they? You get paid to play on a Saturday afternoon,
but you're a plumber in the week. It's semi-professional. Yeah. The levels that we have are obviously quite decent. We've had some good ex-pros. Michael Gomez, was boxed for. There's Luke Blackledge, who's the Commonwealth champion box for us. Yeah. There's a lot of decent fighters that have fought for us. Yeah. Decent MMA lads come down, decent lads go up, and the matchmaking, which is a job of mine, is all about.
We see a lot of lads that were good amateurs and they never really did anything with it and didn't turn pro, and I've seen a lot of those guys fight on those shows as well.
And the thing is, for boxing, to be told you're too old to be an amateur and you're not good enough to be professional, there's a massive gap in a place there. So we try to fill that. So that's where we get into the business of boxing and becoming big with Malta, Spain, Portugal.
Shit, really?
Ukraine. We've been to there in the past.
Really?
So yeah, it's
fucking hell, mate.
And you got to be careful when you go into these foreign countries. Yeah, he's only had one fight. Yeah. And then you Google him and he's nowhere to be seen.
Oh, because there's no.
But you change the spelling of his name. He's had 300 kickboxing bouts. Okay, well then all of a sudden he's not a white collar fighter. Is he? He's somewhere else. So that's where we are at EBF. On the back of that, obviously we. Spencer has got a good friend in Larry Holmes, who is the ex-heavyweight champion. He did a UK tour with him, lost a fortune. And on the back
what did he do a tour in 2018?
Larry?
Yeah.
Larry's done 4 tours for us now.
I'm sure he did one in 2018, and I'm sure I've seen you with it.
Yeah, you would have done.
And it was the Bellew Usyk fight?
The Bellew Usyk fight was Thomas Hearns. Thomas
Hearns, that's who it was. And you had seen you at one.
Yeah.
And I was with, it was mad, because Ricky was there, Ricky Hatton was there.
Yeah.
Scott Quigg was there. My mate Scott Quigg, strength and conditioning coach, and I was talking to him, and I saw you go past.
Yeah. So we did a pre-fight lunch with the Hitman and the Hitman.
Yeah.
So Ricky and Thomas. Yeah. And then we went to watch the Bellew fight. So and then obviously Goldstar is the massive.
I've just fucking I fast forwarded about fucking 11 years there, by the way. Fast forward 11. So let's rewind 11 years. So Spencer's got a friend in Larry Holmes, and then.
So just coming off on that. So basically, Spencer does a UK tour with Larry Holmes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loses a fortune. Larry Holmes said to him, "Have I taught you a lesson?" Spencer said, "Yeah." And then on the back of that, Larry Holmes has connected Spencer and us with the company and different types of people. Your Roy Jones, your Sugar Ray Leonard, your Roberto Durans, and all of the American legends now.
Yeah.
Directly come to us if they want to do a UK or European tour, and we kind of move forward and all the stories and everything else. That
well, let's go there. Let's go there then. I want to go back to the EBF thing first. What's some of the maddest shit you've ever seen on the EBF? Apart from that massive fight that broke out in South Shields that time.
Yeah, so there's been a few. So South Shields was.
Is that the hardest part? The crowd, because I've been at shows. In fact, I'm sure I've cornered in shows where the crowd are like literally trying to get in the ring.
Yeah.
Like they're right at the side of the ring, and I'm cornering someone. What the fuck are you doing?
So I take over the running of the EBF, and I start tidying things up.
Yeah.
No, not 8 cornermen. Not all your pals drinking pints and putting the pints on the canvas. No rocking the rope. No banging. No telling the ref you're going to do him. And I mean, our head of refereeing is Big Philip Riley.
Mate, he's a big
6'5" fighting machine.
Yeah, he is.
And he'll tell the crowd if you don't all back away.
Hands like fucking shovels him.
He's a monster, and he can fight as well.
Can he?
You know, I got told a story. I'm not going to tell you. Told me the story, but they said to me, who's a good friend of Lenny McLean. And he said, "You know Philip Riley?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "He'll put Lenny McLean away in 3 rounds."
Really?
That's
fucking
what kind of... Because I was saying, "Oh, what's Big Phil like?" And he said it, and he told me.
Mate,
so
and he's how calm is he?
Dead calm. Yeah.
Honestly,
so they can shout as much abuse at my referee as they want. However, they're not really going to get anywhere. So we try and tidy it up. Crowd control. Put a fence around the ring.
Yes.
You know. And we're doing this very successfully for 6 or 7 years, and it's going well, and we're doing 80 shows a year, 100 shows a year, and, you know, it's fantastic, and we've got different people coming on board, and celebrities want to do this, and fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, and then every now and again, you know, we get an MC on board called Brian Houseby, you know, the greatest MC, non-professional boxing MC on the planet, moonwalking, screaming, shouting, spinning around his head, saying I'm going to have a go at promoting. And then he does
Children of the Night. I've never heard Sweet Caroline the same.
Yeah,
I've never heard it the same since I've heard him singing 1,000 fucking... You must have heard it a lot.
Do you know what? I used to sit there and go, this song does my lips in. And I've just been away with my missus and the kid to Cyprus.
Yeah.
And Sweet Caroline came on.
Did it?
And it gave me goosebumps listening to it.
Did it?
Because I've not heard it
without him singing.
Well, I've not heard it since March ever, because all the shows have been off. Shit. So the song I used to hear 4 or 5 times a week and used to think, relating it to work, was like, wow, I've missed this. I've missed the crowd singing it. We'll get back. Coming back to Brian. Yeah. Brian puts the show on, sells all the tickets because he's a popular guy, and he gets all the local lads to fight each other and all that, but just forgets 1 or 2 major things. Correct medical cover, you know, which obviously we've had to pull down. One of my team is a nurse, so effectively we had to try and squeeze that in there. Crowd control. Yeah. He forgets. You know, he forgets something else. You know, he does that big leisure centre. No, they're all punching each other and slapping each other.
It was like a Good Friday or something as well.
Yeah, it was
like it was a Good Friday.
It was a bank holiday, wasn't it? Because they'd all been drinking all day, hadn't they?
Everyone had been drinking all day.
Yeah. So that was like moving forward 7 years and then taking a 10-year step backwards to Brian's show. But everybody else, I mean, the EBF did a show at the Motor Point Arena 18 months ago. Yeah. Sold 3,000 tickets.
Fucking hell, mate.
Massive. Phenomenal. Sure. You know, not 5 rings of white-collar fighters that other people doing all that. Yeah. 1 ring, 1 card, 15 fights. Carl Froch's brother headlined. You know, a big old professional, on the scale of, you know, above small hall boxing shows, really. So from where we were to where we are now, it's fantastic. You know, and we've streamlined now. You know, some of the promoters that don't like what we do, go do their own thing. Yeah, no problem with that. You want to put hay bales in a barn and and have a straightener and take your gloves off, then do that. That's not what we do. We do high level, properly insured, properly run boxing events, and there's a million different people doing different things, but that's what we do with the EBF.
And it can't be. That can't be an easy thing to do, though. There must be a lot of red tape.
Yeah, dealing with the police was it in the beginning, was dealing with the police. So I would have this folder with me and all these box files, and that's the insurance policy, and that's the risk assessment, that's the risk assessment thing, and that's the insurance policy. And by the time the police had turned up and they were dealing with me, they'd be like, all right, mate, just do your show. Stop mithering me with paperwork.
Really?
Yeah, whereas now, because of the onset of white collar boxing, they kind of let everything go. The laws have kind of slipped a little bit, which is dangerous, you know. You know, there's, God forbid, touch wood, we've never had any kind of serious injuries on any of our shows, but safety's paramount.
Yeah.
Safety's paramount. The refereeing team get told, you can train for 8 weeks, you can be the local superstar, you can be the local bodybuilder. If you get caught with a straight, clean shot and your pupils buzz, you're getting a standing 8 count on the EBF.
Yeah.
That's it. Whether you like it, whether you scream it, whether you call a man says you're a disgrace and all that, we don't care.
Yeah.
You know, if you, I know we were talking about your blood pressure before off camera, but if your blood pressure is high and we can't get it down within a 5-minute period, you're not fighting. I don't care if you sold 300 tickets and the promoter's going to do his brains in. You know, we don't care. It's not important, is it?
No.
It's a sport at the end of the day. You know, and that's the way we kind of have to portray it. You know, some people like it, some people don't. Some people use us. Yeah, we're going to be the next big thing. Completely rip off what we do and do their own thing, save money. No problem. That's life, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah, so
I love it, mate. So tell me a little bit more about this. What happened? So we'll go back Larry Holmes, and then you got introduced to all these things. And I just looked the other day because obviously I follow your account. I follow the Gypsy King merchandise account, and then I looked on the Goldstar promotions thing. I'm thinking, fucking hell, you've had some fucking studs over here the last few years, man.
Yeah. So
I saw fucking Floyd.
Yeah,
for a start.
So Spencer's have got this relationship with Larry Holmes while we're doing the EBF, and it was the EBF presents Larry Holmes. Yes. And then it was the EBF presents Roberto Duran, and the EBF presents Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah. And at one point, the EBF was getting bigger and bigger and bigger in the white collar boxing. Yeah. And then the other side, but then we did a Gascoigne, or we did a couple of footballers, and it didn't really suit that the European Boxing Federation was doing football. So Goldstar, the company, was created. Mm-hmm. We've always done merchandise and memorabilia auctions at the shows, and back in the day, Spence would go around and do it all himself, then we would do it, and then Brian does the auctions and all that kind of stuff. So
he does that, and he
gets the crowd going, and he says he learns off Spence. Spence is the kind of...
Is he?
Spence is the top dog when it comes to auctions. Spence is the overshadowing... Al Heyman type figure of the chain of businesses that we have. Yeah. So then we create Goldstar. So we have Goldstar memorabilia. Yes. We have a young kid in the warehouse there, Paul, that runs that. Biggest trade dealers of memorabilia now in Europe. Gigantic. We do exclusive signings with pretty much anybody that Goldstar bring in. We do the exclusive signing with. So therefore, it kind of suits on what we do. So we hold the stock and big plays in the game. Yeah. So Goldstar is created as its standalone tour, and then it's just evolved. Yeah. So the UK boxers, you can go on Twitter if you want to get Joe Calzaghe on your show. You can just tweet Joe and, do you want to come on my show? Do you want to do a show? And Joe says yes or no. You offer him some money or no money from in town, but whatever. The Americans is a little bit different. Yeah. Because you've got to pay for inbound flights. You've got to guarantee that they get on inbound flights. You've got to pay for the family. You've got to pay for the ground transport. You've got to pay for the security. You've got to make sure that the hotels are the correct suitability. You've got to go and make sure that there's this and there's that and there's this and there's that.
So there's quite a big risk on the front end then.
There's a big risk. So now we have a team that run the EBF for us. Yeah. Yeah. So Sarah, Brian and Phil, they all run the EBF, and Goldstar, the operations is, Spence does the deal, signs the paperwork, passes me the paperwork and say, right, we are now doing a tour with...
Yeah. Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. We've done shows with Connor McGregor, Anthony Joshua. Yeah. All these weird and wonderful people coming right the way through to, Tyson Fury, and everybody else. And they all bring their own kind of stories to the table, each an individual person.
So I particularly, because Floyd Mayweather, I was like, not that it was 2018. Was Floyd Mayweather 2018?
So Floyd has done 3 tours with us now.
Fucking hell!
Yeah. So we get approached. Oh, you're Goldstar.
Yeah.
I'm Floyd Mayweather's manager.
So they come to you now. Wow, that's amazing.
I'm Floyd Mayweather's manager. Do you want to do a UK tour?
Yeah.
A little bit of due diligence. I don't think you're Floyd Mayweather's manager, mate. So, do your own thing anyway. It turns out that this guy was part of somebody who knew the guy. We speak to the man about the man. He's already done a deal with a music producer.
Right.
These guys try and do a tour. It pretty much falls flat on its face.
Yeah.
But they brought Goldstar in to do the memorabilia. So we go down to do the memorabilia, started speaking to Spence, myself, what's the correct way the show should be run. Floyd is a brand and brings a team of 20 to 40 people at any one time with him, including his own security, his own jet.
Fucking hell.
But to move that amount of people around is mayhem. Is mayhem. The organisation there is very limited.
Yeah.
The amount of money that they generate is unreal.
Is it?
Unreal. Yeah. He's the money man. However he does it, he's got this thing about him. So
when you find that, he's finding that we're talking about before. Is he finding that kid off YouTube? He isn't he?
They're calling each other out. There's a big old weight difference there, isn't there? But it's like
I don't think it'll matter. I don't think it would matter, but
he's going to get paid like he got paid for fighting the little Japanese kid, isn't he? It's a 60 seconds work there, I think, isn't it? Yeah, so. Mad. And then on the back of that, Floyd, now when he comes to the UK, he's pretty much exclusive to Goldstar. So we've done a couple of standalone.
And you're getting to hang out with all these fuckers.
So my job for the operations would be tour manager for all of these people, which is
pretty cool.
Which is great. So we have to do the road mapping and making sure the teams, and we have to have It started with, let's say for example Larry Holmes. Yeah. It would be me, Larry, his wife. His best mate, his wife, his son, Mercedes V-Class executive that we bought for the company, driving up and down the country, and the lads would be behind me in a van with all the luggage in a van.
Yeah.
And we'd go down and we'd check them all in and all that.
Yeah.
That's obviously not sustainable when you're doing a 1,500 people event a night with Floyd and all these.
Is that how many people are showing up at those kind of events? 1,500?
So big numbers now, mate. Yeah. It depends on the acts. I mean, we've just done a UK tour with Irish Mickey Ward.
Yeah.
Phenomenal fighter. Phenomenal story. Unbelievable guy.
Yeah.
You're doing 200 or 300 people there.
Yeah.
You're doing 200 or 300 people there, but it's people that really want to know.
And they're real. The kind of people that are his fans are real super boxing fans, like real more not necessarily entertainment boxing fans, but like real boxing fans.
Either purist boxing fans, or for someone like Vinny Pazienza or Irish Mickey Ward who've had a Hollywood movie about them.
Yeah.
Then I've seen the movie. Or can you remember? She say to your missus, remember that movie went to? The fella's actually coming to Newcastle. Let's go watch him. Yeah, let's go watch him and stuff like that. And that's great because that would be me, Mickey, and his mate in the car for 2 weeks.
That's cool.
Driving up and down.
That is cool.
Good banter, good stories, and you just kind of think all of these people are very inspirational people, but every single one of them is grounded.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
To a certain extent.
Do you know me? Well, I always think that about anyone that I thought that when I met Tyson, any of the MMA, anyone that I've met that's involved with fighting, they're just fucking normal.
Yeah.
They're just normal fucking blokes. Do you know what I mean? Like Tyson came in here and he was just a fucking normal guy. I mean, obviously quite a large normal guy. He was just a fucking because we always get asked that. What's he like? What was it like interviewing him? Even like famous people that come on, like Chris Rock, what's Tyson Fury like? I was like,
just normal.
They're just normal guys. Is that what you get with all these guys? The vibe that you get from all of them?
99%. 99%. Mickey told me a story. He said, listen, he said he was at the World Boxing Hall of Fame, former heavyweight champion now, holding his shoes, holding his jeans. Oh, Mickey, I've got no money, mate. No one's, everybody's ripped me off over the time. I've got no skin. I'm the ex-world heavyweight champion. And blah, blah, blah. Mickey said, why don't you get a job?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you mean? So, you've got holes in your shoes, go and get a job. Mickey Ward still tarmacs roads in Boston. He doesn't need to, but that's what he still does.
Does he?
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Holy shit.
Until it's too cold to do it. So it's like a 10-month-a-year job.
Yeah.
And I just thought...
Fair fucking play.
Do you know what I mean? Go and get a job. Yeah, to be fair, boxing's been a bad industry for ripping people off over the years. And Larry was the first man to manage to keep his money and manage his money well. And then from then, you obviously had Mike who lost everything and Evander who lost everything. But then now, I think a lot of them now are kind of managing their money a little bit more. And,
and there's a lot of TV work now as well, isn't there, as well?
Afterwards, yeah.
Yeah, like you see a lot of fighters, especially Sky Sports, are always giving...
A lot of fighters can't afford to retire unless they do a pay-per-view fight, which people don't understand. People go, oh, he's on TV all the time, he's getting fortunes. It's not always the way.
Yeah.
So, camps cost a lot of money. Taxation.
I saw once that Conor McGregor, for one of his fights, he was talking, I find it quite inspirational actually, that he'd spent, before he'd even had the fight, he'd spent 6 figures on like his nutritionist and his massage therapist and his fucking physio and that. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that is, because no one even thinks about that, do they?
No, George has just been in Morecambe, the Connor's nutritionist doing Tyson's.
Really?
Yeah, George Lockhart, same guy.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Shit, because I see Tyson posting all those meals and he's got Paris on it.
He puts a price tag on him, so you can kind of work out how much he's getting paid by the price tag of his granola and Greek yogurt, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, so. I didn't know. Well, I always thought, I was like, why is Tyson working with an MMA guy? But that's who it is.
He's a nutritionist, yeah. George Lockhart, I think, was on one of the Tough series. One of the UFC Tough series. I think he's fought in the UFC a couple of times, but he is a specialist.
So he was a fighter?
Yes, but he does Holly Holm. He did Holly Holm for the Ronda Rousey fight. Mm-hmm. I think he's on GSP, Golovkin, Connor, Tyson. At that level, 5% matters.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
that all handled for you.
And people don't see that, you know.
No, they do.
You don't see, worldwide nutritionists and worldwide padmen and sparring partners. Elite sparring partners cost a lot of money, so...
Do they?
Yes, they do. Right, yeah.
So elite sparring partners get paid to come and spar.
Yeah. They have to. You have to pay for them to live. You have to pay for them to travel. You have to pay for them to fly. You have to pay for them to spar. They're getting punched in the head by the world heavyweight champions, so they want to get paid for that.
No way. That's mad. Well, that's actually how I heard about it. Zalfa Barrett.
Yeah.
I remember Crawler, when he fought Linares, was saying, I sparred with this kid called Zalfa Barrett for the Linares fight.
Good kid.
And that was the first time I'd really thought about this whole pros getting paid for sparring. I was like, wow, because he's a good fighter as well.
And it's a very good way, because 2 or 3 fight pros going round sparring, cutting the teeth. So Tyson sparred Klitschko, didn't he? He went to Klitschko's camp to do it. Yeah. And that's the sort of story that everybody tells and all.
The story is amazing.
He knew, didn't he? He knew he broke him before then. Yeah. So. And then we get right the way up to doing Tyson Fury. Worked with Tyson Fury for a lot of years, before Klitschko, after Klitschko, during his down times and stuff. And at one point he said to Spencer, listen, do you want to start looking after a little bit of my commercial stuff as well? So we've taken that opportunity, started the Gypsy King official merchandise, which is now humongous. Yeah. It's its own machine rolling around.
Have you got like a store or something now? I'm sure I've seen some.
Yeah, so in the memorabilia warehouse, it's now probably the world's biggest memorabilia showroom, and we've got all.
It's a showroom now.
It's a showroom, but there's. You've been down, haven't you, Sean? It's just phenomenal. It's massive, the thing. And then now we've had to take part of the showroom out to do the merchandise. So it's not open to the public; it's open to the trade. Yeah. But it's its own standalone business now. And then obviously we're doing 1 or 2 bits with Tyson and being involved and helping him set up his foundation. And I keep pointing at that wall, don't I? Because I think it's about that direction.
Is it? That's what it is. I keep thinking about you pointing around that wood. Yeah. So obviously you're heavily involved in this boxing business now. What's the whole lockdown thing been like? Because obviously there's been no EBF.
No, it's been so. This year started off with Tyson's fight in Vegas. Mm-hmm. So so we look after his merchandise. We look after his after party. We look after his ticketing for him. His family, making sure cousins and aunties and uncles have got tickets.
He's got one of them, hasn't he? Yeah. Sean probably
a few more than Tyson knows about, to be honest.
Ask him, is this guy really your cousin?
Well, I don't even ask anymore.
I really do.
I just smile and agree. I just went, of course you can have family discount. Yeah. It's the same price as the ticket was in the first place. Yeah. So we do that. So we are 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Doing that fight. Yeah. The after party, so when Tyson goes into camp, Goldstar kind of leave him to do his thing.
So he just has to train.
That's boxing. We're not involved in his boxing.
Because a lot of lads when they first start off, isn't it? That you see a lot of lads, even Crawler was doing this, was where they're like people come and get tickets off them, or they'd have to go and deliver tickets to people's houses and that. That must be fairly fucking stressful for a fighter.
I think when they're starting off, they have to do that. They have to start knocking doors and stuff like that. But when it comes to Tyson, everybody wants to be involved in the camp. Everybody wants to go to the villa. You know, everybody wants to go to this and everybody wants to go to that. So what we kind of just take a step back. We look after the commercial side and what Tyson wants us to look after. So if Tyson says, Wardy, will you look after, you know, these 20 tickets for me, I'll do that, because he doesn't need the stress. Tim's his camp manager. They have the sparring partners, his brothers, the nutritionist, whoever, your strength and conditioning boys, the masters, they're all in there. You know, we step away. But the opposite side to Vegas is the after party and the wristbands and the ringside this and the ringside. And I don't want to be sat there and I want to be sat there. And the highest grossing box office for a heavyweight fight of all time is autograph. So we're a million miles an hour.
He does the now, by the way. Now it's the highest grossing heavyweight fight of all time.
Well, it's coming. So he does the business. He smashes it. He goes to the after party. There's 5,000 people in Hakkasan nightclub in the after party.
Fucking hell.
Tyson walks in, suit jacket on. No
just
shirt.
a tie on, didn't he?
Just the green WBC tie that he got when he won the belt. Walked in, takes over the microphone, tells them to turn the music off. Gets them all singing in. I mean, I don't know if you've ever been in Hakkasan, but it's some
There's one in Dubai, isn't there?
The one in Vegas is a 5,000 thing, big, massive $3 million lighting structure. The loudest sound system you've ever heard in your life. There's One Direction in there. There's all sorts of different, Mark Wright's in there. Every single UK celebrity that's there is all in there. He comes and he takes over. To think of 5,000 people in a nightclub now is just weird, isn't it?
To think, we were talking about that on the way up. He was like, I miss clubbing. I was like, well, I didn't really go fucking clubbing before, but I probably won't. You never know what that will.
I mean, to imagine to get back to that is just, we were, the guy that runs Hakkasan said, listen, he said, we do Canelo's after party. He comes in with his sunglasses on, waves, spends 45 minutes, waves again and leaves. He said, you come in 200 handed into the VIP area, you drink like $35,000 worth of beer and vodka. Tyson comes in jumping all over the stage. I said, was he value for money?
Was he value for money?
So that was great. So then we come home 2 days later, Floyd lands.
Oh shit.
So we go straight into a 9-day Floyd Mayweather tour.
Fucking hell.
Timekeeping is not as good as his boxing, I'm going to say. Missing flights, missing jets.
Really? That must be quite stressful.
It was the first time we did the tour. But we're now in the position where Floyd's going to be late. And everyone's and all these banqueting managers.
You just at the wrong time.
You say, what time will Floyd be here? I'll say any time between 2 and 6.
This
what
week.
do you mean? And and you've got these banqueting managers. What time shall I tell him to serve the chicken when it's a banqueting dinner and all this kind of stuff? And I said, just serve it now. But Floyd's not here. I said, he's not going to be here. So Floyd's late, but you can manage it. And when we are 100 shows a year for 10 years, we know how to handle it. You can flip a show back to front. You can. So effectively, the way a show works is you arrive. You have a pre-drink, you go and meet the star, you shake the hand, nice to meet you, have your photo taken, your photo gets developed, you get it down, you sit down, you watch the event. Auction, pre-entertainment, whoever's going to talk first, and then obviously, interval, main act comes on, does the last hour. Obviously with Floyd, you just can't do that. Floyd wants to do the photos at the end, so everybody's steaming drunk. Floyd's always late, so everybody's even more steaming drunk.
Fucking
but it is what it is. You've got to make it work. You've got to deal with it. Do
you know that was the hardest thing about speaking was that everybody. I'm used to speaking in like hotel rooms where it's like the day event. People have came, they've got a ticket and that. But on those fucking that sportsman's dinner kind of thing. When the person's speaking, nobody shuts it. Everyone's fucking talking at the same time. Did my fucking head in.
It's difficult to control the crowd, and it is the compere's job to control the crowd. And some people are very good. They have different options, different ways of doing it, which can be a little bit condescending sometimes, but it works. We've been doing some shows with Big John Fury.
Oh, really?
Yeah. John demands his own respect on the microphone.
Maybe I can imagine John
if you don't want to listen to me talk, that's no problem. I'll put the microphone down and leave.
Really? Shit. Yes. See, I love that.
400 people, So it just depends on how they work, Ricky does his own thing, gets on his mic and does his 50-minute thing, which is fantastic, no matter how many times you hear it. Tyson tends to do his he will work on a prompt, but Tyson's story is just obscene, isn't it? Yeah. It's mega. I mean, we've done so many shows with Tyson now, and he just gets a standing ovation. Yeah. He can break down, barriers, speaking to anybody, and the mental health stuff he's gone through is really.
That's inspirational.
We've done a couple of shows. We did one show, I can always remember, in the valleys in Wales, full of massive slate mining, tough rugby playing monsters. Yeah. And I can remember watching him. And he was big at the time. Yeah. And he was telling his story. And this was when he said I'm going to come back and I'm going to beat him. I'm going to beat Wilder. I'm going to beat AJ. And 26, 27 stones. I just started losing a little bit of timber. And I can remember looking into the crowd and seeing 15, 20 blokes crying their eyes out.
Really?
Big monsters. Yeah. You think, but he can have a fight. And you just think, and at that point, it just reiterates how much of a special person he is. Touching, generating the kind of, but what he said when he was on your podcast, mate, he speaks and people listen, doesn't he? When you've got the alpha of all alpha males telling you he nearly drove off a bridge, then you can listen, can't you?
Well, it's kind of like, it's people listen because it's clear that he's not bullshitting.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys that have been crying, and I get this as well, because those guys have been through it or they're in it at the moment, and you've seen these fucking doctors, you've seen these fucking shrinks, and you know for a fucking fact that they've got no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But when he talks about it, he describes it, and it's like, fucking hell, that's exactly how I feel, or that's exactly how I felt. And that's why, and obviously the story's fucking phenomenal, and I think that's why it resonates with so many people, because it's clear that he's not just fucking making it up.
I don't know if I've never been through anything like that, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm lucky or whatever you tend to call it. I don't know. But I sat there and listened to you and Tyson say, and both of you said the same thing. You both said you've both been to a psychologist or a doctor of sorts, and you both sat there and you both looked at him and thought, you've never fucking been through what I've been through, so you don't understand that. At that point, I thought, I've kind of always been a little bit, come on, mate, pull your fucking socks up.
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, do you know what? I've never been there, so for me to say that, it's a bit harsh, really.
Well, one question that I want to ask you is, what are some of your strategies for, because listen, what you do, every time I think about it, I get stressed just fucking thinking about it. Because that whole boxing, those shows are a fucking, honestly, mate, I speak at so many, the only reason I speak at other people's events is so I don't have to organise them.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. Someone says, will you come and speak at my event? I'm like, yeah. I'll definitely come. And people are like, well, why didn't you put your own on? You would get fucking hundreds of people in the room. I'm like, 'cause I've organised them before. They're so fucking stressful.
Yeah.
Do you know, people are pulling out, people are not coming, people are not showing up, people are showing up late. I've got all this other shit to do. So you must have either some secret fucking weapon, or you are just fucking blessed with the ability to deal with stress.
I think it's spending so many years stressed under massive amounts of pressure that now
this is not pressure for you.
It's not pressure anymore. Yeah. When Floyd was in here the last time, and his security team are here, and his security team is saying one thing, and and there's kind of all these chiefs giving you all these different directions. We're there at 6, we're there at 5, we're there at 4, we're there at 3, and then the chef's saying, "Can I cook my chicken? Can I cook my chicken?" The photographer's saying, "I've got to do this," and all these different people, and everybody's saying, "Woody, why are you calm?"
Yes.
I said, because it will be what it will be. We will make it work once he's here.
Yes.
And I think the stress levels only come when you make a big deal of it. And I know that some of these people we do 100 and...
Do you think that's a lot of people who are probably putting, because they're stressed, clearly. So that's like 10 people putting their stress onto you.
And they only probably do it 3 times a year.
Yeah.
I do it 3 times a week. So this is it's a mind
training. It's training.
That's exactly. I've done it all. The mistakes have been made over and over. We did a massive event with Conor McGregor a few years ago, just around the time of the Floyd fight. It was the fastest selling box office gate at the SEC in Scotland, in Glasgow, of all time. Yeah, it's been beat since, but massive. Yeah. He missed his jet. So we're on the phone to the pilot, and the pilot's saying...
So what was it? What was the event?
It was a meet and greet with Conor.
At the
SEC in Glasgow.
That massive arena? What beat it?
Not the arena, the armadillo.
Yes.
The armadillo there. It's 3,000 seats.
Was it a YouTuber that beat it?
No, it was Brendan Rodgers, the Celtic manager.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was 17-minute sellout, Conor McGregor. I think Brendan Rodgers was like 16 minutes.
Bro, that is... Really? I thought it was because I went there not so long ago to see this fucking YouTuber, and it got sold out in so fast. But 16 minutes for Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah,
that's mad.
So, it's a religion there, isn't it? That Rangers Celtic thing. We've sold out 2 or 3 nights on the bounce with Gascoigne over there. All the Rangers players and the Celtic players that we do will just sell out.
Fucking hell.
You know, it's a good thing. So Connor misses his flight.
Yeah.
And then the pilot says, listen, they only have so much flying time, which I wasn't aware of. He said, listen, if he's not on this plane in 45 minutes, I need to fly this jet back to the UK.
Yeah.
Anyway, we paid for the private jet to fly back empty. Connor strolls up to the airport, clicks his fingers, gets a jet. Lands, he's an hour behind time. Great. Oh, by the way, I've got to go and do a little bit of work for bookmakers, so I'll be there in a bit. So so the whole place is stressed.
Yeah.
Is he going to turn up? He's never done one of these before. Is he not going to turn up? Is he going to turn up? The crowd are starting to get a bit aggy.
People drinking in that.
If we go over midnight, you're getting fined 10 grand an hour for security and policing and all this kind of stuff. And all these radios are going off and the phones are ringing and all this kind of stuff. So we just got to flip it. Doing a meet and greet at the end. Get him on stage as soon as he gets there. So we did the break dances, we did the pre-talk first, we did the auction, we did everything else. Yeah. Connor turned up, head to toe, in his suit. Mega.
Yeah.
With his boys.
Yeah.
You ready? I said, yeah. What do you need me to do? So I need you to get on stage, mate. So you want to go on stage now?
Sure.
So you want to go on stage now? So yeah, he was in the building. 3 minutes. He walked onto the stage and absolutely smashed it.
Did he?
Unbelievable.
Was it?
Yeah, like goosebumps talking.
Really?
He's a superstar.
Yeah.
He's a superstar. Got on there, did his hour.
Yeah.
Mega. Did the meet and greet afterwards and finished it. So all that stress is gone.
Yeah.
It's gone, but it's learning to know that you can just flip.
I read something the other day that was great, which is like stress is kind of like a drama, right? And you energize it when you add energy to it. So you're actually kind of neutralizing it by not adding any more energy. I'm
not going to say don't give a fuck, but I'm just going to say, well, what will be. So you just deal with it, don't you? And, you can. Shouting never gets anybody anywhere. Yeah. Screaming, and the pressure does get on there. And I have a bad habit. It shows up whistling at people.
Oh, is it? Whoosh,
whoosh. Yeah. And I think to myself every time I do it, stop.
You ever do that to your missus? I bet you don't.
No,
I bet you don't know.
No.
You're losing your fucking teeth.
She's the gaffer, mate. Yeah, she's the gaffer. So no. So coming back to the stress and everything, I just think you just have to deal with it. So you know that Floyd's probably going to be late. Yeah. So you tell him to be there a little bit earlier, so he's not as late as he would have been.
Yeah.
You know that the people are going to be drunk at the time.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the Floyd, the COVID thing started. Coming back to the question that you asked me about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah. You've got great guests. I didn't remember what I've asked them.
So all of a sudden, this COVID thing's creeping up in March. COVID this. All these people are dropping dead in the street in China and all this stuff that's coming along. And then all of a sudden, Floyd starts turning up with gloves on and his hood up and that, and we're like, people are saying, why is he doing that? He's cold. He's cold and shaking hands, and then he starts fist pumping, and then it's because obviously you do a meet and greet.
Yeah, it's a lot of.
You can shake hands with 400-500 people in a row. We hand sanitize anyway at all the events anyway, just because it's pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So all this was kind of so that was an extra little bit of stress, but then. Without looking behind the closed doors, the social media and the media on the back of the event was mega.
Yeah.
Floyd's come, he smashed it. He sold out 9 venues. Yeah. He's done his tour. 1 or 2 haters online saying, he's late and he's this and he's disrespectful to his fans and all that, but he's Floyd. And then Floyd flies out, whenever it was. We host a massive white collar event in Blackpool. Mm-hmm. We do a massive Paul Gascoigne event in Glasgow. Mm-hmm. And old Boris comes on the TV and goes, whoosh.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's where we are now.
Yeah.
0.
Yeah.
We've actually managed to squeeze 1 or 2 small hall shows with John Fury. We had a 25-date tour with John Fury.
Yeah.
And we managed to get, I think, 5 shows out of the 25 were tier 1 areas with social distancing and stuff. So we're now at ground 0 and waiting for next year.
Mad. So what have you been doing? How have you been keeping your own shit together? How have you been mad? Because that made that stress again.
Yeah, it was a very strange situation for me. Because
you used to being on the road as well. You must be very used to being on the road.
I had a baby born in December as well, just to add to all the stress of the new year, no sleep and stuff like that. But it was very strange because at that point I was thinking to myself, I'm kind of at my limit here. I need to kind of changed something a little bit. I started doing yoga once a week and turning my phone off because my phone is one of those things that just, and even for an hour a week, it was one of those things where I just had to start doing it. Then forgot about the yoga again, kept my phone on all the time, but it's because I couldn't, I'm dealing with America, everyone goes to sleep, then America wakes up and all that kind of stuff. And then COVID came along and it stopped, so it was great for me for 3 or 4 weeks.
Everything you got a rest.
I've got a rest, did everything, closed all the books off, did all the forecasts, did everything, read it, I'm a little boy. Then you were a bit like, and I started taking him for a walk in the morning. The walk got longer and longer and longer until it was 15k.
Really?
And I did 15k a day for something like 130 days. Wind, rain, shine, along Blackpool Seafront, around Blackpool Tower, and back home again. And I think that was the only thing, rather than that barbecue weather, painted the fences, decorated the house.
Hot tub?
I didn't get a hot tub.
Did you not get a hot tub? You couldn't fucking get them anyway? Everywhere sold out the hot tubs and fucking fire pits.
Yeah, that's it.
It was mad, wasn't it?
Got the old barbecue, ran out of grey paint, had to queue for the grey paint at 6 o'clock in the morning for the fence panels, all, like everybody else did. And then I got to a point and my missus said, you drank every day now for about 150 days, don't you? And I was like, oh, do you know, she said, because Boris has been on saying this is day 150. And you've had a berry every day.
Fucking hell, really?
And I was a bit like, got on the scales and I was like, a little bit of timber on as well here, Anna. So then just started introducing a little bit more training into my body. I've always trained and that, and then we just moved on from there. It kind of broke down a bit, back into the gym.
Yeah.
The Tyson Fury merchandise has kept the company.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Thinking you seem to, you kind of doubled down on the Gypsy King stuff,
So the Gypsy King merchandise is run by its own team, which is great. So as is the memorabilia. So they're Spencer's company, so they run themselves. Yeah. So I have an input every now and again when we need to do it, but they kind of self-suffice and they do their own thing. So they've been running and keeping the business going. Personally, on a personal level, I just kind of took a bit of time out to have 12 months at home with the baby. It's priceless, mate. It's priceless. And you don't. I still don't even really realise it now. Apart from the fact that everybody tells me whose kids are older, who work during the kids growing up, and a lot of my pals work offshore in the gas and oil industry, and they go, mate, you don't understand what it's worth. I've not earned any money. It's not been great. A self-employed person always worries about the future. But you shouldn't really look towards the future, should you? You should look towards the day.
Well, you're right about that, self-employed people looking towards the future, because you kind of have to. The thing is, we always think, the future is, it's either one or two things. For me, it either makes you anxious or it makes you excited, which is kind of the same thing. Think about this, all your goals and aspirations, they're all based on the future. But also, anytime, all of your worries are based on what might happen. It's the fucking same thing. Do you know what I'm saying? It's back to what we're talking about before, was like what filter you see through. But if we look back now at lockdown, I think everybody that you talk to will be able to find. If I said, give me 10 things that were great about lockdown, like everyone could easily come up with 10 things.
I don't think there's been anything negative about lockdown apart from financially, but everybody's in the same boat in the industry.
Some people have got more money than they've ever had from lockdown.
Some people have.
They weren't making money before online. So sorry, they weren't making money before, and suddenly they're getting these fucking bounce back loans.
Do you know? If I didn't have the boy at home, I would probably have looked into a startup business.
Would you?
Because I've got that kind of mentality where I just can't sit and do anything. But when I've got him there, spend every day, my missus is like, leave him alone. Stop trying to teach him how to box. Stop wrestling with him. Stop trying to teach. Can't even walk the poor kid. Do you know what I mean? I make him kick footballs and stuff. And that's where we are. Next year and the future.
Well, that's what I was just going to ask. What do you think? Do you think this will change what you do next? Will you be back on the road, or?
Of course.
Or do you think there'll be somewhere in between?
It's going to come back, but it will come back gradually, slowly, and surely. But I think it will be what it will be, won't it? It will be what it will be. I'm not going to worry about it. There's nothing to worry about. You sit with people like Tyson. I spend a lot of time with Tyson. And what does he always say? Worry about today. What's the point in worrying about tomorrow? How many times you get a phone call? Oh, so-and-so's died, don't you? Didn't even know he's ill. Yeah, we only got a phone call off his doctor a few weeks ago, and now he's dead, and you just think...
fucking Maradona died yesterday.
Mate.
That's mad.
Crazy. Someone said to me, though, he's had a great life in money. probably lived a great life to about 40, and then he's been pretty ill for 20 years, hasn't he? You know, let's get it right. He's struggling with his weight and his health, but got some mint stories, to be fair. I mean, I've read his book, I watched his documentary.
Have you read his book?
Unbelievable, mate, yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, so.
Mate, imagine doing a tour with him. Fucking hell. That would have been wild.
Yeah.
That would have been fucking wild.
Well, you know, it's one of those. We've had the talk. We speak about everybody. We speak about everybody. You know, there's nobody that we don't talk about as Goldstar now, because we're open to doing anybody from Tyson to Tyson's dad to Paris to a soap star to a tennis player to a basketball star to anybody. So you speak about Maradona and you think, well, how many haters have you got compared to people that love him? Because I hated him for many years. But he is probably the greatest player of our generation, isn't he? Alongside Gascoigne, I think. You know, he's phenomenal, isn't he? You know, and his stories are great. I could have sold 10 nights straight in Glasgow with him. There's no doubt about it.
Gaza?
No, with Diego.
Maradona?
With Maradona, yeah. Because he once said, didn't he? He said, I don't care if the English hate me, the Scots love me, and that's all that matters.
Did he?
Yeah, he said,
fucking hell.
All my Scottish pals on social media are reposting it last night. So
really?
Yeah,
I love that. Man, who would you love to do a tour with? Like, someone that you haven't done it with, someone that you talk about, you're like, you know what, I fucking love to do a tour with him. Sports.
Oh, Michael Jordan.
Oh, dude, shit.
Michael Jordan.
Do you know what, that show that he did on Netflix was one of my, when I look back at the lockdown in a couple of years' time, you're like, remember The Last Dance?
Yeah.
And The Tiger King?
Yeah. The Tiger King, yeah.
Remember that shit?
Joe Exotic, yeah. That was one for me, yeah. No, Michael Jordan, I think, you know, unbelievable sportsman.
Yeah.
Unreal, really. You know,
that would be fun.
I'm lucky in the fact that my sporting heroes are Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah.
Done several UK tours of him. Could call him a friend.
I met him when I worked in a gym in Newcastle about 15 years ago.
I took him there.
Did you?
The one with the big white front.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's it.
15 years ago.
I can't remember the name of it, but I can remember the gym. I took him there.
It's called Green South of Fitness. It was called.
That's it. And Mike Tyson. Done a few shows with Mike. So yeah, Mike's great. Yeah, he's an enigma.
Is he?
Mike Tyson walks into a room. There's not many people I can say it. Mike Tyson, Connor McGregor, Tyson Fury, Floyd Mayweather, Don King. Oh, lights are gone. Don King.
That's all right, don't worry.
They've been into a room and you can sense their aura.
Yeah.
You can sense their aura. You know, Tyson Fury's a pal. You know, we phone talk about the footy, talk about anything else.
Yeah.
But you can sense him, can't you? I don't know if you felt it as well, but you can see he's a special human being. You think, you know. So I'm quite lucky that the people that I would want to spend time with, I've managed to spend time with. But I think Michael Jordan is he's up there. Yeah,
that's insane. Who do you think will win the fight between Fury and Tyson and Jones?
Roy Jones, in my opinion, should win it. You know, on boxing skill alone. Yeah. I just don't know how his knees and his hips are going to hold up, and if Mike starts throwing big bombs in the way.
Will you watch it? Part me wants to.
Do you know what I'm like? It's like that. You know,
I'm like that with McGregor and Mayweather.
I'm a hater, but I just want to see it. You know what I mean?
Weird,
it's a funny one.
I was like that with McGregor and Mayweather. I was like, what the fuck are these two fighting for? And then I was like, I'm not getting it. And all my pals thought, oh fuck it, I'm getting it.
I flew to Vegas to watch it, mate. I
flew to Vegas to watch it.
And after about 60 seconds of the first round, I just went, I'm going to the bar. And I was like, what do you mean? I said, mate, this is what it is. You know that, don't you? And Floyd's not throwing any shots.
Nah.
He threw 3 punches in the first round, didn't he? It's like,
So,
but yeah, I'll listen. Of course, I'll watch it.
What's the best? Is that in terms of fights that you must have been to a lot of fucking fights, right?
Yeah.
What's the best fight you've ever seen? It must have been Tyson and Wilder the first one.
Tyson and Wilder the first fight was unreal.
Fucking phenomenal.
Unreal. AJ Klitschko was a good fight. Massive fight. Massive phenomenal. It's Tyson versus Wilder. Yeah. It's one of the greatest boxing moments of all time.
Yeah.
Of all time. Yeah. Getting up off the canvas. I had made in my hands when he was stood back up. Still thought he'd been beat.
Yeah.
Remember, young travelling kid. He's got up, and he was up, and then he had his hands behind his back, and I was thinking, oh my God, what's he doing? So, unreal, special moments.
There's who's he going to fight next?
Tyson?
Yeah. Sorry. Who do you think? Well, listen, ask him what happened to his legs. So I've got to ask you who Tyson's going to fight next.
Yeah.
Who do you think might fight next?
I think the American courts may say he needs to fight Wilder.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, as a contractual litigation type thing.
I think he'll school him. Do you think anybody beats Tyson? Who do you think his hardest fight would be? Out of all those heavyweights?
Wilder.
Do you?
Wilder's his hardest fight. Yeah.
Really?
I do, yeah. Closely followed by AJ.
Yeah.
AJ's an unbelievable physical specimen of a human being. Yeah. We've done a lot of tours with him, do a lot of work with him. Yeah. Quality guy. Yeah. I know he's got a lot of haters at the minute. Yeah. He's a top fella. Yeah. Unbelievable athlete. Yeah. Phenomenal. When you strip all of the bones away from the athleticism and the oxygen recovery and the science and the this and the that, Tyson's boxing ability is better than Anthony Joshua's.
Oh, mate. Without a shadow.
And it's a boxing match.
Yeah.
It's not fight, it's not sprint, it's not high jump, not chess. Yeah. It's a boxing match and he's boxing ability.
Do you think Wilder's the most dangerous?
I think it was, mate. I think it was, mate. I think the power in that right hand was that, and I think that it just shows that he knew, didn't he? When he got up after he knocked him down the first time and he knew that was it. Yeah. He had nothing else in his armour. That's why he could just step through. The next fight, the third fight, the trilogy, if it happens, is very dangerous because Wilder has got nothing else to lose this time. He can't back off like he did last time. He's got to stand there.
Who is he going to fight? If Wilder loses again, who's he got left to fight? Joshua's not going to fight Wilder.
Wilder? Huh? Wilder's probably going to pull himself a couple of Andy Ruizes, isn't he, and stuff like that. He may retire. He's had a good crack of the whip on it. I'm sure he's going to get a few quid along the way and for a trilogy and stuff like that. But it's an interesting one that it's exciting to see.
Well, mate, where can the guys listening, watching in, find out more about you and what you do? Best place?
Yeah, Instagram.
I've
pulled myself off Facebook a little bit now just because I'm a little bit... I don't watch the news. Don't go on Facebook no more.
Sorry, Facebook, but it's a fucking cesspit.
Yeah, so Instagram is what I tend to do, and obviously the Goldstar promotions page across all social media is
amazing. Mr. fucking James Wall, everyone, tremendous. Hey, man, thank you for that.
Cheers, mate.